Mysterious death getting nationwide attention after attending a July 4th boat trip with friends and never returning home. Now, a Mississippi grand jury will determine if criminal charges will be brought after the family's private autopsy couldn't rule out foul play in Nolan Wells' death.
Nolan Wells' throat and neck tissue went missing before the second autopsy ever happened. That's not speculation. That's confirmed, on record, right now. The FBI just released a statement on this case. You need to hear what they left out. Here's what nobody's telling you. This isn't officially a murder investigation. Not yet. Two things before we go further. First, promise. You'll know exactly what the FBI is and isn't doing here. Second promise. You'll hear what Katie told Christine Wells, face to face, for the first time. Katie was the last person confirmed to have spoken with Nolan before he vanished. She stayed quiet for weeks. Until now. You already know the outline. An 18-year-old goes to Horn Island for the 4th of July. 300 people on the beach. He never comes home. But you don't know this part yet. The FBI's statement doesn't say what most headlines claimed. It doesn't confirm foul play. It doesn't clear anyone either. It draws a line most people missed completely, because somewhere between a mechanical failure call at 3 p.m. and a boat pulling away at 4:31, something happened to Nolan Wells. The FBI's statement doesn't explain that gap. It was never designed to. So what exactly is the FBI looking at? And why does that answer matter more than you think? Let's start with the clock. To understand what the FBI is really saying, you have to understand what's already been proven. It starts with GPS data nobody can dispute. Evidence here's promise 1, delivered. The GPS data, the boat. The timeline nobody argues about. At 9:56 a.m., the boat left the dock. It reached Horn Island at 11:14. Nolan was on it. So were his friends. Nothing about that morning stands out. By early afternoon, Nolan meets someone. Her name is Katie. They talk. They spend time together the way people do at a gathering like this. Then they part ways. Here's what actually happened, according to Katie's own account to Christine. Nolan told her he was heading back to rejoin his friends. She believed him. She got on a different boat and left. She never actually watched him board. Read that again. She didn't witness it. She assumed it. That difference matters more than anyone admitted at first. At 3 p.m., Warren Hudson says he last saw Nolan. Relaxed, fine, nothing wrong. At the same hour, a call goes out from that same boat. The bilge pump failed. Water's coming in, they need a tow. This call happens before anyone knows Nolan is missing. Nobody's shaping this story yet. It's just a mechanical failure, logged in real time. At 4:31 p.m., the boat leaves Horn Island. Nolan isn't on it. By 5:52 that evening, the boat is back at the dock. No Nolan. No explanation. Just an empty seat where an 18-year-old should have been sitting. You now have the undisputed record. Nobody argues these timestamps. Not the family, not the sheriff, not the FBI. But here's the problem nobody can explain. 90 minutes pass between Nolan's last sighting and that boat pulling away. 300 people were on that beach. Right here, before we go further, subscribe now. This is the moment the FBI's statement was supposed to explain, and it didn't. You'll want to see exactly why. Not one of those 300 people can account for what happened in that window. The record is clean, right up until it isn't, and what the evidence shows next is harder to explain away. Key question. Here's promise 2. The forensic detail that changes how you see this entire case. When the second medical examiner received Nolan's body, he found something specific. Red discoloration, subcutaneous, localized entirely to the back of the head, not lividity. Lividity pools at the lowest point of the body. This didn't. Dr. Roger Mitchell's report stated plainly that he could not rule out whether non-accidental factors contributed to Nolan's death. Sit with that for a second. Here's what you need to track, point by point. 1. The first autopsy kept Nolan's throat and neck tissue.
But why was the neck missing? What about the interior of the throat sparked the initial medical examiner's concern? Was there some bruising on the neck? I don't know. So right now, it could go in so many different directions. But let me tell you this, the call that the friends made when they were returning without Nolan, they say he wanted to stay and be with.
That's exactly why the FBI's statement matters, and exactly why it frustrated so many people. The FBI confirmed one thing clearly. Their involvement covers digital evidence and interstate threats. Nothing more. They are not running a homicide investigation. They never claimed to be. So who explains the missing tissue? Who explains the wiped phone? Who explains 90 minutes on a crowded beach where nobody saw anything? Jackson County Sheriff's Office is still the lead agency. The FBI is only assisting. That distinction got lost online. It shouldn't have. Because if you thought the FBI stepping in meant answers were coming fast, you were wrong. The case moves at the same pace it always did. Local, slow, contested. Why would the first examiner hold on to the neck and throat, instead of sending them for the second autopsy? Tell us what you think happened, right now, in the comments. If the body raises questions, the digital evidence was supposed to answer them. It didn't. Not cleanly. And one video made that gap worse before anyone tried to fix it. Suspect's truth. Let's talk about the phone. This is where things get uncomfortable. Snapchat, wiped completely. Text messages, missing. Nobody has explained how or why. Both sides finally agreed to something rare, a joint forensic inspection. Family experts and law enforcement, examining the same phone, at the same time, together. Legal analysts call this arrangement unusual. It doesn't happen without serious pressure from multiple directions. Now, while that inspection was still being arranged, a different piece of evidence exploded online, and it turned out to be wrong. A video surfaced, a voice yelling, demanding a phone back. People online said it was Nolan. Tressiston Shepard came forward directly and said that voice was his, not Nolan's. Nolan was nearby, in the water, out of frame. Ben Crump later admitted the original claim came from a single witness. A second witness disputed it immediately. That correction came from the family's own attorney. The clip still circulates as fact. It isn't one. If a claim like that can go viral and be wrong, imagine what else is still unverified. Subscribe now. We're the channel separating confirmed fact from noise on this case, before anyone else does. So what does the FBI actually confirm? Digital evidence assistance. Interstate threat investigation. That's it. They are not naming suspects. They are not confirming a homicide. They made one thing unmistakably clear. They are not the ones running this case. If you were sitting on that grand jury, would undetermined be enough for you? Drop your verdict below. So if the FBI isn't driving this forward, who's actually accountable for what happens next? With the FBI's role clarified and the phone data still pending, one process is now moving forward, whether the public is ready or not. Unresolved close the grand jury is coming. 15 to 25 citizens will review the evidence. No press, no defense presentation, just a decision on probable cause. That's not a trial, that's not a verdict. It's a threshold, nothing more. $125,000 in reward money still sits unclaimed. Toxicology results are still pending. The full phone inspection is still pending. The cause of death is still, officially, undetermined. Elmore Wanley said it in his own words at the announcement, that his son should be at football practice right now, not in the ground. That's the sentence this entire case comes back to. Not the GPS data, not the FBI's careful wording, not the viral video that turned out to be someone else's voice. Right now, there is still an empty 90 minutes on that beach that 300 people can't explain. What do you think really happened in those 90 minutes? We're pinning the most convincing theory in the comments below. When the grand jury decides, you'll want to already be subscribed. Hit that button. Ring the bell. We'll have it here first, fact-checked, before it hits anywhere else. Somewhere, someone knows exactly what happened in that gap. And that empty 90 minutes is still waiting to be filled.